The Sony 670 is a camera from 2015 Sony's consumer lineup. I think you need to be more a gadget geek than a movie geek or video geek to appreciate this camera. It's like it has more communication related features like live streaming, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC than features related to taking videos. Thankfully, this camera doesn't look like a tablet or a mobile phone. It looks like something pulled out from Terminator's eye socket. You know, this thing on the front is a 30x lens that goes all the way from 26.8 to 804. But if it looks a little bit different to you, then let me introduce you to relatively new Sony technology called BOSS, Balanced Optical Steady Shot, which means that the whole lens and sensor assembly is built as a single unit, and the whole unit is mounted on the gyroscope inside the camera. So there is no front lens or front glass like on traditional cameras that have optical stabilization system. There is a fixed lens on the front, there is fixed sensor in the back, and there is part in the middle of the camera, some lens in the middle camera that moves. Instead, on this camera, the whole assembly of lenses and the sensor is one unit which moves in the body of the camera. So the front end is open. There are kind of openings on the front, and imagine if I go to a beach or where is there fine sand and wind and salt and moist, how long will it take for this new Sony system to give up? So the 46mm thread around the lens is not an advanced feature, it's a necessity. You need to put a glass filter or UV filter or whatever protection filter on the camera the first time you pull it out from the box. I didn't do that, and I already see some specks of dust on the assembly, and I didn't go to the beach yet. So in my view, Sony's new system is mechanically simpler than traditional one because they mounted the packaged lenses and a sensor in one unit, which I think is easier and cheaper to produce and to fine-tune. But if it's mechanically simpler than the traditional system, why no one did it before, why Sony didn't do it before? I think it is because only now Sony was able to manufacture lenses which are small enough and light enough, and the sensor which is small and lightweight enough for the whole thing to combine in a single unit and to be controlled by a small gyroscope in the small camera. So the whole assembly should be really small and lightweight. And if you compare this Sony camera to the Panasonic HDC SD600, they have about the same size, the same thread size, but the Sony has single 1/6 inch sensor, and the Panasonic has 3 quarter-inch sensors. So you can see that Panasonic's assembly is bigger, and probably it wouldn't be viable to mount all this assembly into the Sony's BOSS system. So basically that's the flip side of the BOSS system. You need to have your sensor to be really small and lightweight. Video captured by this minuscule sensor can be encoded in either AVC HD or XAVC-S format. AVC HD tops at either 24 or 28 megabits per second depending on frame rate, while XAVC-S doubles this rate, hovering around 50 megabits per second. In 60i and 24p AVC HD mode, the camera can record low resolution, low bitrate proxy video, in addition to the original high resolution video. This approach is similar to what Sony offers on its professional camcorders. You can use either micro SD card like this one or micro M2 card as recording media. And the user's manual recommends class 4 card for AVC HD recording and class 10 or faster card for XAVC-S recording. But I tried class 10 card, and this one is U1 card, which is basically the same speed as class 10. and neither of them worked for XVCS mode. So, but thankfully the camera has also 32 gigabytes of built-in memory, which works in XVCS mode. And to get data on the computer, you can use this built-in USB dongle or a micro USB output over here, and you just connect it to the computer, and I selected mass storage mode on the camera for USB, and now the computer just come on. You can see that Sony's Play Memory's Home application started up, and I can use either Play Memory's Home to get my videos from the camera, or I can use Windows Explorer to use the camera basically as a external drive and to pick and choose any files I want and move them onto my computer. It is peculiar that the camera has two USB ports. It has a full-size USB dongle, kind of ugly, that hides in the hand strap, and it's used both for data transfer and for charging the battery. And it also has micro USB port for data transfer. And if you want to power the camera with the battery removed from the camera, you cannot do it with just USB. Apparently there is not enough power. You need to buy a separate DC adapter and use this 1990s kind of looking dedicated DC port. So I don't know why Sony wasn't able to provide USB adapter that provides enough power through USB, because that's a power adapter that Sony provides, and even if there is not enough power from computer, they just should have, you know, provided an adapter that feeds enough power into the camera. They didn't do it. I don't know why. I don't know what are the technical merits for the decision that they took with this camera, but for example, Fujifilm X30 can be powered through USB port. My cell phone can be powered through micro USB, and I can still use it. My Kodak PlaySport camera can be powered through micro USB. A lot of tablets can be powered through USB, so I don't know why exactly Sony chose to have this kind of mess on the camera. The connectivity weirdness continues with HDMI ports. The camera has two mechanically identical HDMI ports, which is unusual because manufacturers usually try to combine different features in a single port whenever they can. Here they have you have two mechanical identical ports, one for feeding data, feeding video from the camera to another device, for example HD television set, another one for feeding video from HDMI source into the camera and to watch it on the camera. And why would you want to watch video on the camera? Because it has projector on the front, and you can project videos on the wall, and Sony claims that it can even project a 100-inch size video on the wall. I doubt it. I think that it should be really dark, basically completely dark. But I tried projecting about 50-inch size video on the wall. It is better than nothing. To keep the movie illusion going, the camera offers film-like 24 frames per second shooting rate, in addition to traditional interlaced FullHD video and high frame rate FullHD video. But this doesn't make this camera a proper movie making machine, because the tiny sensor has mile-long depth of field, it is noisy even in good light, the picture lacks detail, it looks a bit soft, and in addition exposure cannot be fully controlled. Well, the PJ670 offers some level of exposure control. For example, you can switch it to a priority mode, selecting either shutter speed or aperture, and the camera will adjust other settings automatically. If you want to lock overall exposure to prevent sudden changes of brightness, the only way of doing that is using the exposure slider. In this mode, you cannot select specific shutter speed or aperture, the camera will choose them for you. All you are controlling in this mode is image brightness. Sony partly redeems itself, offering input for external microphone and output for headphones. and sound levels can be manually controlled simultaneously for both channels. While the ever-important projector function has a dedicated button, there are few other buttons on the camera body. The main menu, it looks playful, with large, colorful icons. But once you tap a large button, you fall into a rabbit hole of numerous menu pages. There is no quick menu for most important settings, and the main menu is not configurable. The only concession to a power user are 3 customizable virtual buttons. For my custom buttons, I chose image stabilization, manual exposure, and touch focus. With the first one, I can quickly turn the image stabilizer on when shooting handheld, or off when shooting from a tripod. My second custom button allows to lock exposure. It prevents unprofessional scenes like this. I have no idea how motion will look like at any given time because I cannot control shutter speed, but at least the image brightness will remain constant. My third custom button is touch focus. It allows me to rack focus almost as good as seasoned professional just by sticking my finger into the subject on the screen. No software came with the camera in the box, but you can download some software from Sony's website. For example, Play Memories Home allows you to download clips from the camera, to arrange them, to make some simple edits, and to produce AVC HD disc, which is AVC HD content on DVD media. So you have high def content on regular DVD media, but you cannot play this disc on standard DVD player. You can play it only on a Blu-ray player. Play Memories Home also allows you to set Ustream, their internet streaming service that you can use to stream live video from your camera over Wi-Fi. I was able to set up live streaming in about 15 minutes. The process is not straightforward and requires connection of the camera to computer, providing Ustream credentials to Play Memories, then connect it to Wi-Fi hotspot, which can be your home router or a tethered mobile phone, and then you select live streaming option from the menu. And video can be streamed as standard definition or high definition at 30 frames per second. That's it. I guess figure out whether you need a projector or live streaming, and if yes, then maybe this camera can be a camera for you.